Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, the Queen Bee, Danny Wallace. How are you feeling? As we chat this morning to the devilishly handsome, the fabulously wonderful, the incredibly knowledgeable Mr. Fidelbo Hill, the modern man. Good morning. Jodie Sol, good morning. Fab Naredi, good morning. Elise Woodbine, good morning. The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon, good morning, sir.
Shut up, for fuck's sake. Jesus.
The fantastic Lizzie Jackson Barrett, good morning. Josephine Sandra, everybody, good morning.
Good morning, Hivers! Right, I'm going to try and not shout at the screen today. It's a different face, but hopefully a familiar face. Guest hosting for Danny Wallace today. As we know, our beautiful Queen has been a little bit poorly this week, but she is back. She is well, but she's playing catch up. You know what her schedule's like. It's super, super busy. So you've got me, Jojo Smith. Oh, hold on, as it says over here, I can never get this right. Jojo Smith from Creative SAS, Creative Business Development and Branding Fairy Godmother. Swish. That's why I'm here. I would have pink puffs of smoke, but Wallace, can we sort that out for if I do this ever again? We can have some of them effects. So hopefully you're all well. If you don't know who I am, and it's the first time that you've seen me, I am an avid fan of the show. Danny is one of my mentors that I have followed for over, well, probably we're knocking on now for well over 12 months. And she's done phenomenal things for me. I help new and existing business owners identify and develop their USP. Now, their USP being their unique superpower, because their unique superpower, then once you've developed it and you identify it, really get down to the grips of it, and it's your joy, it becomes your USP, your sassy USP, which is your unique selling point. It becomes effortless to sell your business, because if your brand is authentically aligned to you, and you know how to project that within your business development, trust me, magical things happen. So I got the message last night to see if I would guest host for Danny. And of course, I'm that person that my hand goes, yes, 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 I'll do it. Because it always starts the day, fabulous. I am used to starting my day with this show, watching Danny. So when Danny's not here, for me to start my day on the actual show, well, I can't explain to you the kind of vibes that gives me. And if you do know anything about Creative Sash, you know we come with the sassy vibe, the lively, the bold, the full of spirit, and the little bit cheeky. So I'm glad we've had 2 days where we haven't had the show. So today we're coming back powerful and strong, because Danny has lined up for you some serious help for all you homeschooling hivers. Honestly, you don't want to miss this. Grab your pens, grab your paper, because we have a really, really good guest today. We've got Gemma Berg coming in, who is the phonics Queen of Phonics. So we'll have a chat with her in a minute. In good, true, show up, rise up fashion, I think drop us some comments if you're here. Let me know if you're here. Give me a bit of a thumbs up. Give me a bit of a heart and a wave. Show your support, because even though I have done it before, and I'm not as nervous as I was, I only went for 2,522 nervous wheeze today, where before I went for, I think we were bordering about 8,000. So, you know, I'm doing all right. I'm getting better, but it's nice to know that you're here. Plus, the more you like and comment, the more you share, the more that we get this absolutely fabulous show out there for other people to see. And we bring more people into the hive. So in true Danny fashion, there is no weather map. But let me know what the weather's doing near you. But let's do it in alliteration style. I want to know, you know me, whenever I comment on the weather, it's like it's sassy skies, or it's bold blue skies today, or something like that. So give us a little comment. Let us know what the weather is doing. Right, now I have promised you, and Danny has lined up the Phonics Princess and Queen for you. So without further ado, shall we get Gemma Berg, the Phonics Queen, in here? Wallace, let her in.
I'm in. What an intro.
Gemma, how are you? Now, I just want to set the scene, because even though my kids are a lot older now, I've got a 19-year-old and I've got a 16-year-old. So we're kind of out of phonics stage. Those are the kind of languages going on in our house now. So we're in that stage. But I do remember phonics, and phonics had only just started when my kids were at school. But we have got a lot of homeschoolers that are literally, I felt like we should give this title, and I've got some good news for all the homeschoolers out there. I thought we could call this Gin and Phonics today.
Oh, I love that.
Because, hold on, we're not going down the bad route, the dark route. I saw last night on telly that Gordon's Gin are releasing a non-alcoholic gin. So actually, we can tick the box, we can give it the placebo effect, and there'll be no judgment here if anybody's steaming labels off bottles and putting them on the alcoholic versions. So that's all I'm saying. But it is allowed now. It is allowed. So are you bringing us the Princess Pop and the Pirate Pete? That's what I want to know.
I know. Well, I'm not used to being kind of me when I'm talking. I'm usually wearing kind of a pink princess wig or a pirate hat. So it feels very strange.
Perfectly. If you've got that hat to hand, whack it on, because there's nothing like a visual.
There will be a strange hat coming, don't worry, because there's always something going on my head. It's fine. So
tell us what you do. Tell us where you are in the world. Tell us what you do first, and then tell us how you became, how you started doing it. So over to you.
Sure. Okay. So I'm in, I can't say super sunny Essex. Really rainy Essex is what I can say at the moment, unfortunately, looking out the dreary window. But hello everybody. So my name's Gemma, and I'm a primary school teacher, and I've been teaching for over 10 years now. And I set up Peekaboo Phonics as a way for children to really engage and enjoy their learning online. Because it actually came about through the first lockdown. I had one of my friends contacting me saying, oh, my child isn't engaging in his learning online. He doesn't want to do his phonics. So I thought, oh, and she was like, have you got any suggestions? So I popped on a pirate's hat and I just made a quick video teaching phonics. And that is how the idea came about, because she sent me a video and said, oh, I've had my first cup of tea. And, in however long, thank you. She sent me the video. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is what it's all about. So, she sent me the video of him, engaging and really enjoying his learning. So that's what I do now. So I teach children their phonics online through videos, which is the unique resource I've developed with the different characters, and each character links to the sound being taught. So Princess Pop teaches P, for example.
Can you just, for those people sort of like probably more nearer my age bracket that maybe haven't got littler ones, can you just explain what phonics actually is? Because to be honest with you, the first time I heard it as a parent all them years ago, I didn't really know what is phonics.
Yes.
So you can just explain, because we've probably got Danny's got such a vast audience that it will be such an age range and different. Some people won't be in the homeschooling situation. However, we might have grandparents or wherever that they might be able to engage. So if you can just explain a little bit of what phonics is.
Absolutely, of course. So phonics, when I was at school, and as you say, when you were at school, there wasn't phonics, and which is why a lot of us, well, I know that I really struggled with reading at school because there wasn't this system in place. So an amazing man actually called Sir Jim Rose invented the phonics system. So to simplify it without all of the teacher jargon and make it as easy and straightforward as possible.
We're all sitting quietly and we're all listening.
I can see you at the back, Jojo. Okay, if you want to just, can you listen, please? Just get myself into the familiar setting that I know. So what it is so for example, if we use a word as an example, it's probably the best way to explain. If I can grab mine. No, because there's never a pen wherever you are. Here we go. Right.
Here's one.
Thank you. I've got it. So look, it really is like I'm at school now. I'll just give you a quick example because it's easier to show you. Okay, so if you've got the word ship, for example, when I was at school, I would have to say Sir Hip. which doesn't say the word.
No.
Now, what it is they're grouping the sounds together. So, for example, you would have sh, I, p, ship. So phonics groups the sounds together so that children can identify the different sounds, recognize the patterns of the sounds, and the idea is to be able to read any word if it's a familiar word or a word that they don't know. And it really does help them to read and write and become familiar with the words rather than just remembering the word. It's really breaking the word down.
It's about association as well, isn't it? Because
Absolutely.
what I feel with me now is which was the ant.
Very good. I'm really impressed because I can't say anything without my husband's like, just say the sound. Why are you always? I'm like, okay. But that is what helps them to remember it, and especially the really little ones. Like in my videos, whenever I'm, if I'm dressed as Pirate Pete or Sid the Sock Monster, then you will be doing that. The actions are so important because all of these things they're more memorable to the children. They can remember their learning because they have a link. There's an association to it, which is so, so important, particularly with the little ones kind of moving up.
What age do you find this starts from, that that this is really starting, you implement this?
Okay, so phonics starts from preschool nursery. So that's age 3 to 4. And they start doing, you can see my butterflies in the back. So they'll start doing the beginning sounds, which is just s, a, t, p. They will be the first ones. I, n. So those 6 sounds they will start to do, but really gently. They'll be doing really fun things. They'll be learning the ABC songs. So they need to be learning the letters as well. They'll be say, what sound does the snake make? And sing songs about it. Yeah, I can't help myself. And kind of musical instruments. And it's a lot to do with at that age listening, because phonics and reading, the skill of listening is really important. Like I often have parents say to me, they can't in reception blend the words together. So like s, a, t, sat, that's a real skill to develop. So starting from that age, they wouldn't be doing that at age 3 to 4. They would be really gently learning the beginning. Then kind of moving into reception, they always revisit what they've done, which is something to really note in regards to the pandemic that's going on at the moment. Everything done.
Gemma, give us some tips, because
I'm getting visited again.
I've lost you then. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
What I'm saying is give us some tips, because you're back now. I think everybody's just sitting thinking, give us some tips. But what I've just resonated with is engagement and making it fun. I mean, this is right up my street, because sassy, lively, bold, full of spirit, and a little bit cheeky, keeping it creative. But give us, what's the first steps, would you say?
Okay, so I couldn't agree with you more. For me, my whole teaching approach is following what the children are into is so, so important. So I'm gonna go through a couple of really easy ideas of how you can get your children to be engaged in their learning. Okay. You want to get yourself a clipboard. Okay.
I love a clipboard. Love a clipboard.
Don't you just love a clipboard? There's something about it that makes you feel really authoritative, doesn't it? Yeah. When I'm downstairs just taking notes, okay, the shopping, that's done, ticking it off. So what you want to do is to wrap the clipboard in anything your child is into. Okay, this can work for preschool children. I've had parents contacting me after I put this up of preschool children, year 1, year 2, reception year. You cover it in whatever your child's into. Okay. Then what you want to do is obviously put your piece of paper there. The reason that a clipboard is good is the problem often comes with remote learning of when you say to a child, right, come and sit down and do your learning. And then it's the whole, they don't want to. And it becomes a real stress. Okay. I'm a mum of 2 boys as well, so I do understand. I've got from both sides of it. So a clipboard is brilliant because it's more interesting. They can move around with their learning. For example, a young child of 3 to 4, you might want to do a shape hunt. Wax some post-it notes around your house with different shapes. They can walk around and tick them off or draw them. In reception, you might want to be looking around to find the sounds in the room. Can you make a word with the sounds? But it's getting them moving. It's a bit more interesting. And as you said, everyone loves a clipboard. It's more exciting if you cover it with what they're into as well.
I think it's a big ask to I was online doing a meeting the other day. One of my friends and her daughter was there, and it's a big ask for them to be sitting, being a grown-up at a laptop.
It really,
or whatever.
Jojo, it really is. And this is something that I'm so glad that you said that, because I've been speaking to my mummy friends and my teacher colleagues about this. And if you think about it, just to kind of put it into perspective. So if I'm teaching in the classroom, let's say reception children, age 4 to 5, when they are sitting on the carpet doing the first part of learning, I can have them there, Jojo, for about 10 minutes. Yeah. I tend not to keep them there for longer than 10 minutes because you can see they're glazed over, they've zoned out. And then I send them off to do practical learning, which is what it should be about, learning through play. And at the moment, although this is so new and daunting for the parents, it's also a completely different way for the children to be staring at the screen and concentrating for such a long time. So it is perfectly okay. And I'm practicing what I preach here. You know, my child is having remote learning from his school as well. Please don't feel like you need to be on that computer, or your child does, from the morning, every single lessons. Yeah. The schools, they don't want your children. The worst thing that could happen is for them to lose their love for learning. And I think that that's really something that when the child's sitting there and they're not getting anything out of a particular lesson, you know, you can contact the teacher and say, Tom wasn't engaging in this lesson. So I've looked at what the objective is, and I've gone off and done something similar, or we've done some baking today. Just like in the first lockdown, we can bring those skills to this lockdown as well. It doesn't have to be them on a normal school day put onto the computer. It's very, very difficult to do it that way. So please feel free to kind of dip in and out as you feel your child is able to cope, because it's a lot for them. It really is. I know for my 5-year-old, he finds it very difficult to sit for such a long time whilst doing the learning. And there's things that you can do, for example, if the learning objective.
You're getting to a good bit, aren't you? I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, I've got my Nerf gun. It's getting good. And then wait for this. You'll love this, Jojo. So, Nerf gun. If you've got this at home, if you don't, a ball, any ball will do. Okay, nice and easy. Let's say the learning objective is addition. We're adding. Okay, I understand that not everyone's teachers, because sometimes my friends say to me, yeah, but it's all right for you. You can just think of an idea off the top of your head. It's so simple. If you just look at, you know, it's adding. So if you do these sums, let's say the question is 5 + 2, and then on the wall you have 7, 1 and 6. Get your Nerf gun, bang at the right answer, or get your ball, throw it to the right answer. It's practical and it's learning through play, and it's more engaging than staring at a screen.
I saw, which I thought was lovely. I saw it because I thought, oh, I'd play that. Or I used to do that when I was a kid. And one mum, what she'd done is she'd got a baking tray, like a cupcake tray, and she'd put coins in them. Oh no, sorry, there was a tub of coins, and then inside the baking tray, she'd just cut up the sums, like 7p.
Brilliant.
Make it out. And what the child obviously had to do was take the money and put the right amounts in, you know,
which is wonderful.
And I think what a lot of people are doing is they're putting so much pressure on themselves to become a teacher. For me, and I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, I would say keep your mum hat on. And, you know, obviously, if you're working as well, it's so hard to manage. We'll maybe have a conversation about that towards the end. But I'm thinking, like I said, this is right up my street. Think of something creative, like you say, make it practical. You know, whether that's a treasure hunt, whether that is, just think to yourself, what object is around me that I can bring in to you? I think that's, because a lot of people aren't creative. It's not natural. It's very natural for me to be creative. And probably you've got all the experience. But for people to think of these, I would say the top tips are, look at what you've got around you. Look at what your child is into,
Yeah,
and then kind of just reverse it to
it is.
that, or
It's
relate.
so true. And it does. It's everything that's in your house. So, for example, a colouring book. Most people have a colouring book. You can get a picture, divide it up, whack some sounds in or some sums, colour by number or colour by sound. Can you find all of the sounds to colour them in blue? This is a really easy one that you can just do, and most people have got a colouring book at home. So it is things that you've got at home. It's staying sane. This is what I keep saying. Whatever, isn't it though? Like, sanity is what is going to get us all through this. And if you are kind of getting to the point where you're doing it and you can't keep up, it's okay. Step away from it. It's okay to do that for your child, and it's okay to do it for you. We need to stay sane, and whatever sane looks like for you, my sane might be very different to your sane. I could be quite happy for my child. I'm not, but I could be quite happy for him to do it all day long. And you might say, oh, well, my child can't cope with that. He can only cope with maths and English, and then I go and do something. Brilliant. Your sanity is different to mine, and it's just staying sane. I think that's such an important kind of thing to bear in mind.
What's your kind of advice regarding sort of it? I mean, I'm coming from a business head now, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, I'm a mum at home. I've got to do, this and this. What's your advice regarding like the time blocking of it? Or, from your professionalism, do you think it's best to try it in the morning? Or is it, I suppose it's relatable to your child, but time blocking, how long session wise? Because I think there's a lot of guilt on all homeschooling parents at the moment that, like you say, they feel they've got to be there all day.
Yeah, and they don't. That's such a good question, Jojo. They really, really don't. I mean, to ask your child to do that all day long is it's not going to happen really for you'll be very unusual having a 5-year-old that would concentrate for such a long time on the computer. And I would say, in regards to time blocking, everyone is different. Generally speaking, younger children are more alert in the morning. They've woken up, make sure they've had a snack, make sure they've had a drink, all of these things that just to make sure they're ready for their learning. But I would say morning works best. Now, some people might find afternoon is best. You have to do what suits your child. But one thing I would say, pardon?
And schedule, I would imagine, in a sense. So
absolutely. And as a working mum, I work from home as well. My husband's working from home. It's very stressful to facilitate what you're doing, what your child's doing. You have other children as well, perhaps. All of that comes into play. It's really difficult. And I think when your child has something that they have to do from home. So I was speaking to one mum that was saying, he's really struggling with his English, and then we end up doing it for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and he doesn't want to do it. So at school, there would be the lesson of, let's say, 45 minutes, and then that would be it. They'd go to assembly, they'd have break time. So that's another thing, not going over the time. A timer, amazing. Just get yourself a timer. This one's a 45-minute one as an example. But when it's done, like the lesson would be, that's it. Even if they haven't finished their work, it doesn't matter. They've tried, and that's really all that matters. It's such a different setting. We're not at school. We're not in the classroom. We're at home. And I know I'm a teacher, but you're not teachers. The expectations on yourself don't need to be so high, is what I would say, to try and take the pressure off, because it's a lot of pressure at the moment.
It is a lot of pressure. And I think I think what we're all kind of forgetting is there's a lot of other people that are doing exactly the same thing. And when we do get back to some form of structure and, the kids are going back to school and stuff like that, it's not going to be as it probably was. I would say it definitely isn't going to be as it was. So just allow yourself that space to go, well, do you know what? We're really just all making it up as we go along. So it's okay. I've done my best today. I've tried.
Absolutely.
I would think, I'm all about setting intentions for the day. And in your head, if you just think, even if I'm sat on the sofa because I need a break, my little one's with me, even if I've pointed out in whatever we're watching, maybe set yourself I don't know what if this goal is, good or bad, but I would maybe think, right, I'll just just remind myself, intentional, deliberate thinking, to just go, okay, when you see something that begins with, just let me know. Or
Absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. Absolutely. Because that is lovely, because you're still, the one-on-one time that you're spending with your child is so important. What they're going to gain from you, more than, not all, don't get me wrong, the teachers are doing a fantastic job and the learning they're doing online is amazing. But equally, just what you've given as an example, Jojo, is fantastic, because you're sitting and you're talking directly to your child, and you need that time. Which brings me on, Jojo, you're going to love this.
I'm excited.
Excited. Right. When I was teaching in the classroom, I was known as kind of the bit of the crazy teacher, because people would walk down and I'd possibly be wearing this. Now,
I'm hating.
let me tell you about this.
I feel like I'm going to have to join you out there. Let's get a bit sassy. The unicorn and the octopus.
Really suits you. Right. Love it. Unicorn. I feel a beautiful story beginning.
Yeah.
So, now, when I was teaching, we would do guided reading, which, in short, I had to be working with a group of children, and all of the other children would get on with what they were doing and were not supposed to disturb me whilst I was working with this particular group. Everyone would have time to be with me through the week. So you can imagine how that went. So they would come over to me asking me everything. So I said, right, I kept saying, just a minute, got to sit down. I'm with this group. Along came this wonderful hat. I said, right, when Mrs. Berg is wearing this octopus hat, and I said, you can only come over to me if you've hurt yourself, you're upset, or if you need the toilet. So they knew the reasons. Bring that home. This is the mummy needs a minute hat. It's tried and tested, right? I've used it at home. Mummy needs a minute. Okay, when mummy's got this, you can give them a little timer if you've got one, if you've got a really young child. Okay, give that to them. Just say, rather than, when you're getting really stressed and saying, and you're trying to walk away and they're following you like a shadow and there's no escaping, say, mummy needs a minute. Mummy just needs a little break. So she's putting on her octopus hat. Okay, I promise you they will start to, okay, and they'll just leave you for a minute. You can give it to them as well. If the child needs a minute, let them put on that octopus hat. Now, don't start getting the 45-minute timer and putting on that hat, because it won't work. They won't leave you for that. I mean, you can try. Let me know if that does work. But that's another one that's, for your own sanity.
I'm just thinking as well, for the parents or for the homeschoolers, I'm thinking, obviously they're not going to go to their bank meeting, or if they work for a bank and they've got to go on a Zoom call, they're not going to put their octopus hat on. However, I get it. I can. I live in a tutu and a crown and these kind of things, so that's fine. But I'm thinking, just relate it to something. So it could be, a jacket, or it could be something else. So if they're like, Mommy needs a minute, but it's like you're just making it fun. I mean, the back of your jacket could have a big pirate picture on the back, couldn't it? That you're not going to show who you're on your Zoom call with. And Amazon has just sold out octopus. Free with a bottle of Gordon's alcohol-free gin. No, anyway, sorry. But I get it, because you've just got to give your little ones something to relate to, haven't you? And I'm still a big believer in the whole reward charts thing, but I know how hard it is to implement them, because it's about staying consistent, and sometimes it's just easier to give in. But being a fairy godmother, I know about wishes, right? And something I just mentioned the other day when I was chatting to my friend. We were talking about wishes, and we were saying, like, put them, maybe you say, what we said to her little girl was, you're in fairy godmother training camp, right? Now you get to create wishes, and Mummy needed her glasses from upstairs. So she was like, would you go and grab me a wish? Would you get off she went straight upstairs, because she was in fairy godmother mode. Like, the little girl.
That's so true. It's, if you try and kind of hone into the creativity, even like when you're trying to get your kids up the stairs for bath time, the difference of, come on, it's getting late, we need to go upstairs now, or who can creep up the stairs like a quiet little scary monster. They're up. I see my husband creeping up the stairs like, what is that? Still crazy in our house, but yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, I actually think my other half's going to buy an octopus hat because he'll be like, I need a minute. I can see him there.
Everyone just sitting there with their octopus hats. Just
we did discuss time. So for any other top tips, or what I was thinking, any resources, learning resources, apps or websites or things like that, that if things, if you do struggle with creativity or what have you, is there any other resources that you'd recommend, or that you could put the links in here afterwards too?
Absolutely. So, okay, there's quite a few ones that you can go to. On for phonics, you've got phonicsplay.com. I'll put them all in, or I'll send them to you to put them in afterwards, Jojo. But that's a really good one, interactively, to give you ideas to see how you can. There's things, really fun characters like Ob and Bob, and Ob eats alien words and Bob eats real words. That's a really fun one, so I'll pop that in underneath. In regards to other resources, on the BBC as well have got some. What I'll do is I'll pop all of the links in for you, Jojo, and then they can see them. That might be easier, so everyone can go through them. But there's lots of them for creativity, for things maybe if you can't think off the top of your head, that are there. Also on my website, there's lots of ideas kind of in just a free PDF that you can download with all of ideas on there already for you if you're not sure. That's on your website. Yeah, I'll pop all of that in afterwards so people can have a little look. There's the Ob and Bob thing that's already there set out for you as well and explained. So yeah, I'll pop all of those on underneath for everybody.
So if people want to kind of, get in touch or phone, what do you offer? Do you offer a service in that way? Tell us what you do in that way. And it's Peekaboo. It's Peekaboo.
So it's www.peekaboophonics.com. Yeah. And on the website, there's different things that you can get. There's the videos, the phase 2 teaching videos, where I am the different characters teaching the sound of the day. And they're the kind of videos where you don't have to be sitting next to your child the whole way through. Go and have a cup of tea whilst I teach the lesson, because I teach it in exactly the same way as they would be learning it at school. So it's 15 minutes phonics lessons. It's interactive. You can look on the website and see the reactions of the children watching the video, because they're the best testimonials. It's all very well the parents or me saying that it's good. Have a look and you can really see that from as young as kind of even 2, they're starting to say the sounds and copying the sounds because of the characters. So the characters are engaging and funny to look at and interact with the children as if they're talking directly to the children. So that's one resource. There's also a writing pack on there as well, which helps the children, which links to all of the different characters. It comes with 2 little videos as well, and it's writing for a purpose. So all of the resources I do, I try and do it particularly for writing for a purpose. So what I mean by that is they're doing it for a reason. So, for example, rather than just write a letter. No, who are we writing a letter to? Why are we doing this? So the beginning would be Pirate Pete, you see in the video, writing them a letter. Then he sends it to them by magic post, and then they will get there. And then in the pack, it will magically arrive. So you've got the letter there from him, and then a letter for you. It's all set out for you to respond to Pirate Pete. So the children are doing it for a reason, and it has context, and they know why they're being asked to do this. It's also got all of the sounds and everything for them to practice with their letters and how they should write their letters. And then moving on from that, putting the words into a sentence. So it's really versatile. I often have parents saying to me, what age group is it suitable? And then once I've spoken to them, they kind of realise that you can get it from as young as really, I've had 3 to 4-year-olds doing it, because they can use their fingers to trace over the sounds and then keeping the pack until they go into reception and then year 1. So it's really versatile to be using it like that, because it's not all about writing with a pencil, especially at 3 to 4. You want to be having, lots of using.
I love that you went, it's about fingers. Because
it's about fingers.
And it's all about the expression, isn't it? and it's all
yeah,
about,
I'm very expressionate. Yeah.
no, I love it. Because I'm like, when you went like that, and then you went, I'm like, I love this. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's whatever works, isn't it? And I think if you relate to how like you need to stay engaged as an adult, then just think to yourself. And I think like again, this is where I just love this because it is kind of relate to fairy tales, relate to the magic of the Tooth Fairy, relate to the Easter Bunny, relate to characters. You know, that's how I think the inspiration for creativity can come within the house. And you might not be feeling fun, and if you're not feeling fun, that's fine.
Okay.
Like you said, you know, let another resource do it for you. Which obviously, you know, you'll have you're going to put those things in. But I think if we were to summarise, if you were to say sort of like, what would be your top 3 tips, if just for somebody to take away from this, top 3 tips for homeschool?
My top 3 tips. Okay, let me think. Number one, stay sane. Whatever sane looks like for you, okay, stay sane. Like how Jojo said, if you're not feeling fun that day, that's okay. We're all human and we need to just get through this. Number 2, make it fun. So make it engaging, just like how you've been explaining. Whatever works for your child is fine to engage them. Make it really exciting and fun for them, whatever that might be. And number 3, allow your child thinking time. It's really important because I think, you know, we often want them to get there straight away, but especially younger children. And if they're on the screen trying to do the work as well, you might think he knows what 4 + 1 is. Why is he knows what that is? But to be doing it whilst watching the screen, and it's a lot going on in their little brains. So just allow a bit of extra time for them to kind of adjust to all of it. Like how we're adjusting, they need that time to adjust as well.
Of course they do. Do you know what? I think you'll have been an absolute godsend to a lot of people today.
I hope so.
Well, I just think we're all just doing our best, aren't we? And I think that's what your kids are just doing as well. And you know, like you say, time out in the sense of give yourself the time out, get a timeout hat or jacket, or you know, whatever you need, just some kind of signal that the kids relate to, that you know, you both need that little bit of space. I mean, we've spoke about resources and that. If there's an app that you use or that you know, pop that in as well, because I think even if we haven't got the laptops or whatever, most people have got phones and everything else. So, and I know they can get on the internet with that, but I'm just thinking if there are any apps or what have you. And yeah, I think I haven't seen any of the comments coming up, so I don't know if we've had any comments coming up because I can't see them on this part of the studio. So I don't know if there's any questions or comments that we can just nip into. Is there anything in particular that you want to home in on?
Let's see. Hold on. Jenna Rigby. Gemma needs to be in my house right now. Don't know if you want me in there permanently, let me tell you. My husband might be happy though. Like, you can have her. Go on, off she goes.
I've got a bit of something everybody knows as well, that I love to fly a kite, right? And that's about getting outside. Something I found on you know, what's saving us all at the moment, Amazon. I found these kites that you can actually decorate yourself. So that could potentially be like an activity. They weren't that expensive. And then what you're doing is you're going, when you've done this, and they could put their sums on it or whatever, the reward is then that you'll go out and fly it. Or
absolutely. And getting outside is so important for their, you know, for their mental health, to kind of get that fresh air and have a run around as well. So anything that can be rewarded in that way is so important, which actually reminds me something that's so important to mention. Obviously, when the children are learning, it's so important for us to still be checking, like how we are having days where we're feeling a bit rubbish with everything that's going on. And it's just so important to really hone in on kind of, are your children okay? Having that time to say to them, how's everything going at the moment? You know, have you got any worries on your mind? And there's some really lovely things you can get. So, speaking of Amazon, so we've got this. You'll love this. This is the the worry. It's the fairy worry door. So at night, any worries that my little one has, you got any worries? And then he tells it to the fairies. My hand's too big to put in here. He tells it to the fairies. He puts his hand here, and then what happens? Mine's too big, but his will make it go red, which is taking the worries, and then it goes green. So all of his worries have gone away. And it's really good to kind of, I know, isn't it lovely? And, you know, if you don't want to buy something, you don't have to buy it. You could get a teddy bear and get them to eat the worry. You could write it down, give it to the bear, and then just take it away. So their worries have gone, because it's so important to learn they have to feel happy.
I've got an idea for that. If you don't want to, buy something, and I think I remember this. It's very simple, but it used to work. They had a little chart as all the kids used to come into class. They had a little chart, and the kids would put their face where. That's a really good one as well. That's a really good one. Just to come in with how they're feeling. It could just be draw your face today. You're smiley, you're sad, but at least then you're both in touch with each other's. So you can react accordingly, can't you? You can be proactive rather than reactive, if you know what I mean. So I think maybe do you know what? I could chat about this all day with you, because it's full of where we could get really creative with it. So I just want to thank you. So if are you on Instagram, watch Facebook?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I'll post it all in for you, and you can come and check me out. And as I said, I've got lots of really wonderful, engaging learning resources for you. So www.peekaboophonics.com. Check me out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Jojo.
Thank you, Gemma, and thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. I'm noticing that we are coming up towards where Wallace will be starting to say to me, "Come on now, it's time to get off," because I do love it in here. But Gemma, thanks very much. I really appreciate you popping in. I know Danny will. Like I say, Danny she is back. She's just playing catch up at the moment because her schedule is really, really hectic. So for her to have those days poorly, she's having to play a bit of catch up now. But thank you, and we'll definitely connect, because I think there's some creative vibes there. Brilliant. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you. Bye, Jojo.
See you later. Oh, guys, if you are homeschooling, I really hope that you found that helpful, and definitely go and check Gemma out. I hope you've enjoyed the show today. You know me, I just like to get a bit creative, a bit sassy, and a bit fun. I've really, really enjoyed it. I don't think I was as nervous this time as I was last time. That comes from, you just have to keep trying these things. You know, and like with homeschooling, it probably, it does scare you, it does frustrate you, but just try something new every day. I always say, try one thing every day that scares you. Homeschooling would scare me at this point, but I'd just try different elements. Take yourself out your comfort zone a little bit, shake it up a bit, because I think it's when it's that actual sit down routine, that's when the kids are going to get frustrated, and that's when you are as well. So maybe move the space. See how that works. Go out for a walk and do the learning as you're walking. Just try something new, shake it up. So that was the show today, the show at Rise Up Show. Again, thank you for having me. You do know who I am now, hopefully. Go over and check out Creative Sass on Instagram, which is CREATIVSAS. No E on the end of creative, because there's no E on the end of Joe. It's the same across all of my socials. Something that I did just want to point out as well, I very much come from the creative business development and branding point of view, but something I am hugely passionate about is promoting courage and confidence and self-belief, something I've worked massively on over the last 18 months and previously, but really honed in on the last 18 months. I'm really proud of the fact that through working on all those things, I've just created my first workshop, which is FABU SAS. For anybody that does struggle with self-belief, courage or confidence, pop over and have a look at FABU SAS. I launched it in January. The doors will be closing a week today on the 27th. It is 22 days of support, 4 hours of one online sessions, and a supportive space within an exclusive Facebook Facebook group. I'm really proud of it, and we've got some great people that have jumped on. There are still some spaces left. I'd love you to, you know, get in my inbox, have a conversation with me about it, because I'm really passionate about getting it out there. If you believe in yourself, just take those first steps. And it's all what we'll be looking at in the workshop is affirmations, happy habits, deliberate thinking, secret passwords, which are creative things, and also aspirations and intention setting. Pop over, have a chat with me. If you've ever had that niggling voice in your head that says, I wish I could do it, you absolutely can. You just need to turn that key to understand your own self-belief and your own magic and what you can create. Thank you for having me. I've absolutely loved it. It's set me right up for the day. I hope it has you too. And don't forget to go and follow. If you don't follow Danny on Instagram, we have got the swipe up to get to 10,000 challenge that we're trying to get to 10,000. She brings so much value, so much content. If you don't go and follow her, definitely go and do that. Do something intentional today. There's 3 people that you can go and follow if you're on Instagram. It's Gemma, myself, and obviously our fabulous Queen Bee. Thanks again, and have a beautiful Wednesday. See you later. Bye.